All right, we're going to graduate from music to high finance and say hello to Oliver Farry.
Hello.
The story that you're focusing on is the one provoking a major diplomatic row between France and Belgium.
Yes, it seems to be resolved now. It's a sort of a triangular row, actually, because sort of like the UK is sort of like the elephant in the room here as well.
Explain to us what it's about.
Yes, well, France was not happy about a proposed €2 coin that its neighbour had planned to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo, which is going to take place in June. Now, the British Daily Telegraph was the first to report on it a couple of days ago, saying that France had tried to block the proposed coin because it would, quote, carry a symbol that is negative for a fraction of the European population. Now, I think that fraction, they meant the 64-odd million people living in France.
Who were rooting for Napoleon in that battle.
Absolutely, they had a vested interest. They also warned that it could risk engendering hostile reactions in France because a lot of these coins would end up outside of Belgium's borders, and one of the countries that is closest to Belgium, of course, is France. And they said they could actually ultimately undermine the Eurozone. Now, it appears that France actually has won. The Belgian newspaper La Capitale says that Belgium is actually going to withdraw its €2 coin, the Waterloo 1815 special, to a cost of €1.5 million. However, the Belgian state broadcaster says, RTBF says that it actually has got a compromise. Now, the Belgians have a long history of making compromises, keeping as many people happy as possible. Their compromise is going to be a €2.50 coin, which is not legal tender. But so presumably it won't go into circulation. It certainly can't go into circulation outside of Belgium. It possibly may be that they may allow it for circulation inside. That means it doesn't actually have to meet the. It doesn't actually have to be passed by any of its European partners.
Hang on, Pierre Aski, you're the Frenchman in the room. It's been 200 years. Why is Napoleon still a taboo subject in this country?
That's because you don't have a universal vision of history, and that someone's hero is someone's villain, and the French consider Napoleon as the greatest hero in their history, overlooking the dark side of his legacy. But that's what it is, and the coins and notes have been. It was a compromise at the beginning of the euro that it should be neutral. You have bridges.
They're pretty boring.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's
boring
true.
Is euro.
And Oliver, hang on. You talked about the UK, but they're not even in the eurozone. So how are they involved?
Well, they are actually. They not surprisingly have no qualms whatsoever about commemorating it. They're going to strike a £5 coin, which actually is not going to go into circulation either. But it's a collector's item that will. And this is a case of great British trading at work here. It's going to cost you £13 to buy because it's got a commemorative booklet that gives you facts on the battle, just in case you weren't paying attention at school. The Belgians have actually got support from the UK, particularly from a Eurosceptic Tory MP, Daniel Hannan, who says Belgium's new €2 coin celebrates the defeat of someone else who aimed at a united Europe.
Making all point.
Yes. Now, there are others who actually just wonder, there's bemusement afoot, really. They're just wondering why do the French just not, chill out? Lauren Collins of the New Yorker says, I can't say this in an American accent, it'd be kind of cool if the French just once were like, have your Waterloo coin, whatevs. And a French tweeter agrees with her. She says, even after 200 years, we remain a little touchy about this. Now, as if to prove her point, Paris's man in Washington, Gérard Hou, the French ambassador to the US, says, strange that a European coin commemorates a battle between Europeans. We could propose many others. Now, it's actually very interesting, some of the replies to him. One says, and what about Gare d'Austerlitz, one of many Parisian landmarks celebrating French military victories? And another person says these 200 anniversaries were fun up to circa 2012, which is around about the time of Napoleon's last victory. Should have stopped there.
But at least we never started the Eurostar from Gare d'Austerlitz. I mean, we have some tact, whereas the Eurostar arrived.
Go to Waterloo.
It went to Waterloo Station for 15 years, and do not think the French did not notice that way.
Yes.
But I've never seen anyone here in France saying, I've been humiliated when I arrive in Waterloo Station. I mean, this is...
Oh, you've lived a sheltered life.
Well, what's really interesting is in English, Waterloo is sort of synonymous with a horrible defeat. You're meeting your Waterloo, whereas in French it's actually another Napoleonic, or actually another defeat, which was Berezina. And that is actually, it's strange that Waterloo actually hasn't passed into the French lexicon in quite the same way.
Maybe it's still, as your tweeter was saying, a little too touchy for us yet.
Quite possibly.
200 years is a short space of time. I want to thank you, Oliver Farr. I want to
You're
thank our
welcome.
panel once again. Thank you for joining us here for The World This Week.